I don't know what it is about getting V2 rockets in Vanguard, but I just find them incredibly easy. Even when skill-based matchmaking becomes very strict, I'm always dropping them. Like, I'll get into the sweatiest of sweaty lobbies where enemies are running through my spawn with shotguns on Das House, and I'll still manage to end up dropping a nuke. I don't know if I just became like the best player to ever pub stomp in camel grinding history or what, but I already have 21 V2s in the game so far, and even when the game tries to kick me down, I've still managed to get V2s. I even have V2s with really niche weapons in the game. I have a V2 with, the Clouser pistol, like all 25 kills coming from the Clouser pistol. I have a nuke from the Kar 98K, the Gewehr 43, the Bar, the Itra Burst, the Automaton, every LMG, I think, including the Type 11, and I don't know, it's just been extremely easy for me, especially on Das House. I have a couple other maps in there that I have nukes on, like Desert Siege, where I got on top of the roof, and then I even got one on Demyansk, and there's probably a couple other maps in there that I have V2s on that I never attempted for. But with that being said, I've gotten 21 nukes within the first month. It's not a huge flex. I know that there's people that get way more nukes than that. They get like 5 nukes daily. I'll basically share what I've learned on how to get nukes incredibly fast and easy. Biggest thing is play on Das House hardcore. I know a lot of people don't like Das House that are non-camel grinders because the map's kind of hectic. And yeah, there's a lot of shotguns and explosives, and hardcore, there's definitely a lot of explosives. But what you can use is what I call the funny spot. You basically just put down a portable cover or portable shield, whatever you want to call it, right behind the wall at A spawn, and you basically just look down the hallway and kill everyone. And when you're in hardcore, it's one-shot kills, so you can even do this with pistols. When you're on this spot, fully loaded is a must. For your loadout, really just run Ghost, or I guess Dauntless, depending on which one you want. I tend to run Ghost because even when people are shooting at me with piercing vision, I don't really care. I'm behind a wall anyway, and I'm pretty hard to hit up here. I've known about this spot, I would say, since the Das House 24/7 playlist launched, because I've seen me and plenty of other enemies go up onto the funny spot and just aim down sights of this hallway and get a bunch of kills. You can even do it on C-side as well, except C-side's wall, you can't really like see all the way to the back of their spawn. And A-side is definitely what you want to get easy nukes. All you have to have is a competent team. If your team has A and B flag, you can pretty much spawn trap them at C. And if your team constantly pushes down B side and you recognize that, you can hop up on the funny spot, look down the empty side or the empty hallway that doesn't have an objective down it, and you can pretty much just drop a nuke. I've dropped maybe 5 nukes within the past 2 days camel grinding. The one thing that shocked me was I even got a V2 with the Clouser, and this spot's really hard to combat too because you can't shoot through the wall. Grenades, MK11s, and gammon bombs have to be thrown like over multiple sets of walls unless they're running down the literal middle of the map. But then if enemies are running down the middle of the map, your team's most likely killing them, and I don't know, I just find it extremely easy. I just set up and just get a bunch of kills. The streaks that I run actually are the guard dog, which will literally just sit by you, and anytime an enemy tries to flank you, your guard dog will go kill it. And then I run the flame knot. Well, I usually don't run the flame knot normally while trying to get nukes in this game, but because I play on Das House, if our team's getting slaughtered and we need to like break out a spawn somehow, I'll call in a flame knot. And yeah, so you want to get up in the spot as fast as possible down the funny hallway. You want to get up in the funny spot as fast as possible on Das House, realistically, just because you don't want the other team getting a high kill streak, because if they push your spawn with bombing runs or glide bombs, you're pretty much screwed. And the enemy team will eventually catch on to what you're doing, and sometimes they might call in glide bombs, or they might try flanking down middle or spamming you with explosives. You can't really do much about explosives, but on the odd chance that you get hit with an explosive or a bullet and manage to survive in hardcore, I always have stims because I'll just stim myself, and then I won't have to worry about taking a little bit more damage and dying instantly. Even though you are in core and most things are a one-shot. I also run the attack dogs as well, because the attack dogs, you just call them in and they help keep the enemies back in C. And then, yeah, bombing runs, you just gotta run inside and hopefully you don't die. yeah, the faster you get up in the spot, the less likely the other team is to do really well and hold kill streaks. Because if they call in dogs, or if they call in a flame knot or a bombing run or a fire bombing run, or even if they just get a bloodthirsty and call in a mortar strike on your spawn, that's going to be pretty hard to get a nuke up on that spot. And you don't even need to do it on Das House too. Like if I'm getting a nuke, or I guess a V2 on any other map, I'm just keeping my distance. I think, what is it? The getting gold on the Gewehr video, I get a nuke with the Gewehr while trying to do the long shot challenges. Like keeping your distance on hardcore in this game on some of the bigger maps with the blitz mode makes getting V2s a lot easier. Keep in mind, you have to be a competent player too, right? Like little Timmy, who's never played Call of Duty before and his parents bought him Vanguard. It's going to be pretty hard for him to know the mechanics of Call of Duty well enough to drop a nuke. He might get lucky once he picks up the game, but even for those newer players to the series, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to get nukes because they just don't have that game knowledge. Like one thing that really helps with getting nukes, and I think why they're so easy in this game, is not only do I have a decade plus of experience in Call of Duty, I also know the spawns and the maps and the best loadouts and weapons to use to get one-shot kills. And even if you're playing core, just kill faster than everyone else can kill you. And all that experience on top of each other makes getting V2s like literally that much easier in the game. And yeah, I mean, I've never struggled with getting a V2 in the game. I have 21 so far. That's more nukes than I ever got in, I think I got more in Modern Warfare, but that's more than Cold War at least. I think I only got like 8 or 9 in Cold War, and then probably like 20, 30, 40 in Modern Warfare 2019 through the life cycle of it. But yeah, one thing that also makes V2s really easy is it's only 25 kills. And I think in Cold War, if you had the Death Machine or War Machine, you could actually stack the Death Machine and War Machine kills to get nukes. But I don't think that counts in Vanguard. So if you're running the Death Machine or the War Machine to help you get a nuke, doesn't really help that often. You have to have your team succeeding as well, because if your team sucks and you're the only one doing good trying to get a nuke, I mean, your team is going to die feeding the other team kills and getting them kill streaks. So if you're playing with a party and a bunch of friends that you can communicate this with, it's a lot easier. Like when I was playing with the boys last night, I literally was up on the spot and I said, hey, don't let them come down the middle or B side. You guys just spawn trap them on B and mid, and then I'll watch empty side and sit on the funny spot and get in V2. And lo and behold, I got 2 V2 rockets in back-to-back games too. So it's not that bad of a spot. And a couple other kill streaks you can use if you really need the help. I always recommend, if you're on the funny spot, having at least one guard dog, because if your guard dog's there, if you have, I don't know, some sweaty tryhard try to push your spawn, your guard dog will kill them on the way in. So you just have to avoid explosives. But UAVs, I think it's whatever the advanced UAV in this game is called. I still don't know what it's called to this day. It's like something intel, local intel. I don't know what it is. But both of those will let you know where enemies are right off rip. And for Das House, one thing I forgot to mention is try to get a couple kills before you go up to the funny spot, because if you get a couple kills, it gives you a head start and then you're not sitting there. Because the longer you're on the funny spot, the more likely the enemies are to figure out what you're doing. And I mean, everyone knows about the spot for the most part right now. Like, I died to people on this spot constantly. I see my teammates jump up on this spot. Everyone pretty much knows about the funny spot in Das House, but all the knowledge you use to get a nuke or V2 in Das House can be carried over to any other map as well. So with that being said, V2 rockets made easy in Vanguard. I mean, it's incredibly easy to do. Yeah, with that being said, about to head out. Oh, I did forget to mention this at the beginning of the video. There's a new Gamer Subs flavor. It's black cherry. It literally tastes like cherry Kool-Aid, but without the artificial aftertaste. It's been my favorite flavor so far. Use code WILD at checkout for 10% off. Help supports me and help supports the channel. With that being said, about to head out. And if there is one, I'll see you guys in the next one.